Oh my goodness. Seriously, I have to just do it. It's like I can tell myself I don't have to think about things that don't matter.
I was designed to do those things. How the hell does this guy know this about me?
It's impossible to not see.
When Dan read for my sister, she was like, he's psychic. She's like, how does he know that?
Yes.
She's like, it's human design, guys. Like, it's just a testimony of how legit it is.
Seriously, Danny was like FBI or CIA. He's like, how the hell does this guy know this about me?
Having my chart read, there were just thing after thing after thing that I was just like, wow, that's me.
This man is reading me and I've never met him before.
I was in the midst of one of the biggest emotional waves I've ever been in my life, and he saved my life.
It seems like everybody has the same reaction. It's that aha moment, and they want to find out more. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Human Design Advantage podcast. My name is Jen, and decoding the matrix for us is Danny Guru.
We'll be decoding some matrix tonight, Jen.
Yes, we're going to be diving into the design. What did you put? The design of a political hot mess.
Yep.
John Durham and Adam Schiff.
Oh, yeah.
So John Durham's been in the news and will be in the news quite a bit. If you guys don't know what's going on,
The Russiagate. He was the one, the special counsel assigned to investigate. Was this a proper investigation, basically, or was it true? Do we need to whatever? Special counsel, so they sort of can't really fire him per se. He just does his own thing, and he's sort of without oversight mostly, so he's free to investigate mostly.
He's been investigating for quite some time.
Yeah,
we've been waiting for the Durham report to come out.
He started late in 2017.
Yeah, yes, that is how long I've been following this. So he is a key player in this Great Awakening, and
Yeah.
I thought it's interesting. We're gonna tie in Adam Schiff, so should be one hell of a show.
So Adam Schiff is I believe he's in the Senate, senator, I'm pretty sure, but congressman from California, Democrat. And super duper liberal, and that's fine if it's John RFK liberal, we like that, but he is just so partisan that he was the one that because he was the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, that's what it was, and Senate Intelligence Committee, he got all the raw intel, and because he was the chair of that, he could squash any investigation that they decided to make or uplift an investigation that he would want to make. And so he was the one that kept saying, there's oh my God, there's amazing stuff in here. And now finally Durham comes out with a report and said there was nothing amazing in anything. They had no reason whatsoever to do this investigation. It was based on absolutely uncorroborated anything. And he named names, and he went through and said this was literally nothing. It was nothing. It was like the boy that cried wolf on purpose and tried to get the whole village in trouble.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yep. Yep. Sort of can't wait. So that's what these two guys are, and it shows. If you see much of Adam Schiff in the news, you get the sense that he's a liar. You just get the sense of it.
Yes, I have always gotten
these big bug eyes, and he'll say anything.
He has that I can't wait to dive into his human design. I'm pretty sure I can pick out the energy that I can pick up from him, but yes, exactly. I've always thought he's a liar. I don't trust anything that has ever come out of his mouth. I know that he's not playing a good side. He's a puppet. He's total puppet.
Indeed. And
that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
I can pick up another P word too, but
I wouldn't be surprised if he's an Epstein capturee.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
He totally is. I picked that vibe up.
With all that definition that he's got in a not self body, we'll see. So let's pull up these charts and look at these two men. It's a real like and subscribe, right? Can I say it?
Go ahead.
Everyone remember to please like, subscribe, hit that like button. Take a moment right now to do it. Hit the reminder bell so that you get notifications. and pass it along to other people. Don't forget to book your session so we can get to the bottom of what's in your design. We can teach you how to start being yourself. So, John Durham. So this guy, look, he's dead serious. Everywhere he went, he had this big furry, just dead serious look.
He looks like a bulldog.
He does, and he looks like sort of skeptical and very much. I mean, this just looks are looks, whatever. But when we dig into the man's chart, he's the exact. These two were perfect nemesises for each other. Perfect. He's got all his right-facing arrows. I'm starting there. The other one is loaded down with all left arrows. So basically, this man was open and receptive to everything. If you put this man on the case, he was going to see things nobody saw. He was going to see whatever. As soon as this man decided to, as a projector, master this system with all the resources that he had. So he's in his element, right? He's directing staff. He's being a projector. People have to recognize him. In fact, he's doctor recognition through the whole thing. Everyone in his employ, like helping and staff and all this, were Mr. Durham this, Mr. Durham that. So he was really fulfilling an important projector role, directing this investigation and being honored. And he's open and receptive everywhere. That's why it took so long. This man has got mental definition, just like you and I, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and he's got that 64 or 47 channel.
So right, exactly the same. The channel of abstraction.
Yeah, I have the same definition up in my head.
Yeah, and so for him, it's flipped. For he and I are flipped from each other. I forget. I think he's flipped from you. Your 63 is conscious and your 47 is unconscious. I think mine definitely is the other way around. It's my 64 is what's unconscious. Anyways, so I can tell you that in his process, he starts out with confusion. As soon as people told him, when Trump was pressuring him to put that report out, the more he pressured him, the more Durham couldn't put it out because the confusion would have got to him, and his anxiousness over that confusion and wanting to get all down to everything. He's so open and receptive. He kept wanting to get to the next layer, identify, get to the next layer, identify, come up with a solution, get to the next layer. And all of his realizations about what would have been true before that report finally came out kept coming unconsciously. He channeled what needed to be realized. That's what unconscious definition does. It channels for us amongst a bunch of other things. But one of its big attributes is it acts when we're in a channeling way. Suddenly, out of our red stuff, you can count on channeling happening. Doesn't mean it can't happen in the unconscious definition. Just the red is really made for it from our perspective. So here he is channeling these realizations, going through a doubt and confusion mixture, making it all happen. And then he's on the cross of Eden. If you recall, Eden comes, these two guys, again, they're right next to each other. We're going to have you pull up a wheel real quick in a moment. I should warn you that I probably should have asked you before we got on. So you can see how close these two are to each other.
We have a wheel.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. When we get to his chart, we'll pull it up a little after. So this cross of Eden, what it's doing is it's allowing his 36 and his 6, crisis and conflict, to become something that he gets fixed on. Fourth line. He gets fixed on what is the thing. He has emotional clarity to end up supporting the thing. Another reason he couldn't put this report out. He would have been going through an emotional process all the way through. Now, his is technically amongst the most intelligent emotional process, because this tribal emotional wave that's here, if the person had gotten used to it, and you know what I mean, they started to recognize it and learn to live with it, gives them a supportive nature to want to support the cause. So when his team was looking for stuff, he was wicked supportive of all of that. When people told him to hurry up, he's got this channel of the perfected form. 57 to 10 from the spleen to gate 10 in the G center. We know people with this. This all integration definition. This is integration. It's called the perfected form. It's the ability to recognize that your own behavior is exactly right for your own survival in the now. That's a perfected form, because the spleen is immediately aware of its survival instinct, looking into the future. And gate 10 is the love of the self and the love of how you'll be in the world or not, with awareness. And so it becomes an immediate lightning fast recognition inside this projector of exactly how he's going to have to behave. This is an important investigation. There's a whole bunch of political hot mess going on around this thing. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. I won't do it. You can't tell me what to do. I won't do it. So you take all that and you put it together in an all right being, and the mind on this person with that incredible abstract stuff going on. You and I got lots of right arrows, Jen. We know what comes through, right? We both have this definition in the head center. So much, it never turns off.
No.
A mealy mouth man never stood a chance. No one stands a chance against Durham if Durham focuses in on the thing, because as soon as he does, he just lets himself go, and out of his rightness, he starts to see it all. It's constantly, he reads a report, and a year later he'll be like, I read this somewhere, you know, and it'll start coming. That day will start to pull from him the stuff he had seen 2 years earlier, that he just goes to his little Cardex thing, chases it. That's it. And he puts it together. This guy is Dr. Put It Together. That's what this cross of Eden does. Eden is, I got kicked out. I'm now on the plane. What are we going to do? I have to eat. It's a struggle. Life can be difficult. There's a crisis. There's conflict. But in it all, he has to be the role model. And this very much ends up being the battle of two role models. One, that sixth line.
Okay.
That sixth line is, we've said this before. If you have a sixth line in your profile, whether conscious or unconscious, doesn't matter. You're always going to be subject to and in danger of hypocrisy. People calling you out for hypocrisy. People want their role models to truly be themselves. So don't, whatever you say, you also do. Don't just do as I say and do type thing, right? The parent that says, don't run with a bad crowd, and, don't drink and do drugs while they're drinking and doing drugs. You know what I mean? Total hypocrite. So this man is aware of it. Every cross of Eden, if they're even slightly awake or had a life of enough ease to where they just don't scratch and claw for survival all the time, all crosses of Eden have this capacity to really sort of wake up to the nature of humanity, because the nature in the cross of Eden, the nature of that which was perfection, they got kicked out of. They can get kicked out of it again. They have to be a living example of what is themselves, or they know, even if they can't put it in words, they know this man chose to be an example of what it is to be John Durham. The first thing that stood out, open throat. Okay, I'm in a projector. So projector wants to be recognized, and the open throat says you have to wait for the right timing. And if you speak out of turn, you're gonna know all about bitterness. Because people won't listen. You're gonna know all about that bitterness. What did he say? What did he do? How much did he talk? Nada.
Yeah, you don't see him talk that much.
He shut himself up. Nope.
Because I've been monitoring this or watching this for several years now, and I have not really seen. And when he does, it's really short, sweet, and to the point.
Wickedly. He's a lot. Like very few people fit that bill. He fit it, but then again, he's a role model sixth line Eden projector who knew to shut his trap. He became aware that when I speak out of turn, I get in trouble. Aiding his pursuit, he's designed to shut up until the timing is right and he's got something to say. And then, trust me, he won't shut up. Don't put this man on the stand. You know what I'm saying? When the he didn't recommend a bunch of prosecutions, which people were disappointed in. They sort of thought he probably should have. But politically speaking, he's cautious. I mean, if he recommends prosecutions, chances are they'll squash them. So Everything he published is there. There's plenty of stuff to prosecute at some point in time, should they want to. Statutes of limitations don't run out before the next president gets elected, so you never know. And he's got gate 12. It's the only gate in his throat. That's what all this lead up is to. Gate 12 is part of his sun Earth. On the left-hand side, you see gate 12, 6th line. You're going to love this gate 12, 6th line. First of all, gate 12 is about standstill, the need for caution before you do. This is in a manifesting channel. If it's you have this as that's your manifesting channel. If you had gate 22, down in the solar plex, he's only got gate 12. So this is a manifesting gate. This is designed to manifest when the timing is right, basically. It's called metamorphosis, the gate of caution, the need to stand still. And it's caution in the face of the temptation to basically get emotionally involved. So he's got a built-in governor to throw up caution before he's got the emotional awareness or the potential for the emotional awareness to know, I'm not going to worry about this conflict. I'm not running away from the truth. I'm not afraid of truth, and I'm not afraid of conflict. He's on the cross that's got crisis and conflict in his sun Earth. He's down. He gets it.
And what I'm realizing about this is that the older that we get, when we're younger, we do jump in and help people more than others. But the older I get, I'm realizing that sometimes me interjecting is not always what's best for everybody involved. So it's really like picking and choosing when I should say something or not, or offer emotional support or whatever it is. This is perfect for him to be in this position for what he is doing.
Yeah, let me read the 6th line. It's called metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? To change from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Faith. And so he's got a genetic proclivity to live out this faith and energy applied towards change and the emergence from caution and standstill. The faith that whatever the investigation brings, as my role, a 6th line. It's a 6th line again. So this resonates to his need to be that role model, that living, capable administrator example. And so emerging from that, when he finally speaks, this is his theme: emergence from standstill. What the hell did we just get? We got a 306 or 360 page report of the whole dealio. Signed by John Durham. That's it. Fine. Again, God forbid the opposing side for whom John Durham ends up testifying before, say, a grand jury or, in a courtroom or what have you, because the stuff that is in the rightness of this man, he'll come with his whole stack of notes. All the questions will come to him. He'll never look at his notes. Out of his mouth, it'll come.
Yeah.
It'll pour out. He won't even have to look at his notes. And that's got to be scary to the other side. The power inside of this man's ability to literally formulate back what took place. Because remember, that abstract channel is constantly putting together the past. So in the future, all of this will be the past. And like I said, if he has to testify before a grand jury because they decide to start bringing charges against these people who lied and subverted an election and interfered in a political process and interfered against their mandate at home, and in certain cases committed treason. I mean, in its highest form.
Yes, exactly. And that's what going through this whole process and kind of talking to people about what's really happening behind the scenes. I don't think a lot of people understand that what is happening is treasonous. There's, once things, I believe things are going to start to escalate and people are going to get arrested. This isn't like, we're going to go sit in jail and wait for someone to do an appeal. This is death sentences. Anybody who's been paying attention when Trump was in office, go look at what happened to Gitmo. It has gotten a whole makeover and renovation. It is ready to house people who have committed treason, and it needs to be done.
Right.
Because this is why we're in this mess of what we're in right now.
Quite insane. It's quite insane. And so this man deserves that look that's on his face. That caution he had did this. Gates 36 4. So as a 4-6, we know he's going to be fixed in his nature, and he's going to want to externalize the truth, his truth. He's going to want to stick to the very thing that he is like investigating until he figures it out. And then he's going to want to literally share that. He's going to share that. 36 is the demand to share the end of the crisis and the end of the caution and standstill for the emergence of the metamorphosis of the information from Russia to scandal. That's the metamorphosis that took place here. Every newscaster on the planet was Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. And what is going on with all this Donald Trump stuff? Because once upon a time, all the stuff gets said, and one by one, these things keep falling by the wayside. It's just, there's not, so.
I know.
So by now people are starting to see it. So 34.6 is about espionage, the ability to, 36.4, the ability to prepare for and anticipate decline through the accumulation of secret or privileged information. This man is designed to attract privileged and secret information by which he will ultimately use in an externalizing way to basically tell everybody and share that which is mutative and changes everything. That's what he's designed to do. He's designed to attract that and then spit it back out in an influential way. He's designed to be influential as long as he's being himself. And so he couldn't help that. And when you get to gate 6, again, all of this in a wise open throat center that chose to not speak out of turn. That's a big deal for open throat people. We've seen it.
Yes, I have.
We've seen it, and it's not the easiest thing. Gate 6, line 4, leads to triumph. The gate of conflict, friction, this fundamental design component. Both of these are in a defined center, so they're working all the time for them. A design component that guarantees progress. The law that growth cannot exist without friction. This man went in with his sleeves rolled up saying, no, there's friction. We're starting with friction. It's like birth for the passage through. There's going to be friction. Your baby's not going to pop out. There's going to be friction on the way out. Sorry to tell you. A position of natural and unchallengeable power. That's what this is when one is living themselves in their right timing. This conflict, this peacemaker, this gate 6 that settles the disputes. That's what gate 6 does. It fires up the emotional wave. It settles the disputes of the emotional wave, and it decides what it is or isn't open to emotionally. If gate 6 shuts down in the person, no emotional anything's coming out of them. Nothing. Gate 6 is the governor of it all.
And I have gotten there, and I've told people where I'm like, I get to the point where no emotion.
Nothing.
Doesn't
mean never emotion ever again. It's now, and it could last for months or days, whatever. On it goes, exactly. Until some later date upon reflection through all our abstraction, whatever, but not now. And he's the living embodiment of that. The peacemaker basically is this conflict. And it's this the power of his of the emotional solar plexus to dominate when needed. As a way, not as a general rule. So in other words, it's like power. Power is only great when its use is used for its right purposes, right? And in here, the power to emotionally dominate isn't I run around emotionally dominating all the time, everything. It's when called at the end of the caution and the standstill, when you call it out of all of my rightness, and as a reaction and a recognized response out of me, I put together that I must emotionally dominate this, boom. And emotionally dominant he was. You can't make me talk.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is wildly emotional. Donald Trump could have intimidated almost anybody, many people potentially. When I say intimidated, just in his formidable way, could have had a lot of people cower and try and produce a report early. Not him. I mean, they made a great choice. You can't really bend this man in that way. It's just not easy, is what it is. It's just too much emotional support and power in there. So you put all that with 11 and 12. 12 is the capable administrator. That the sixth line is all about the capable being a good administrator. So this man is guaranteed to be a good administrator and be adaptable. The inner balance to accept transition. This man, 12 and 11 on the left-hand side are great teaching gates. He was going to teach the world what was true. After he broke through the BS of the crisis by which he can emotionally dominate the scene and literally stop the conflict and have a way that was able to navigate the secretiveness and the espionage that would have been needed, basically. And he does half of this inside his own head. So you know what was going on. He didn't even have to remember half the time because it would just keep coming back. That's what rightness does in all those arrows. Open and receptive to all the forces. Look, defined root. This man's not under pressure. He creates the pressure. Open ego. Plenty of stuff to prove. However, gate 21. So when he did act out of his not self themes, which would have happened plenty because everyone does. That open ego trying to prove it down the way of control. I'm going to control this. We're going to control the outcome. I'm going to control the way this goes. I'm in control here. Good. You're right. You're the special counsel, bro. You are in control. Good place for you. So last thing about him are these nodes. So on the right-hand side, the nodes are 17 and 18. 17 and 18 are challenge and correct. Challenge. So he's the design. We've been through 18 over and over again now. 18 is a design to challenge. His nodal design is totally in resonance with his personality, both fourth line. So he's absolutely going to externalize the need to say, F this, I challenge that. Nope, I challenge this. Anyone can, I promise you, moles and fake people and fake news came to him from everywhere, and he challenged it all. He challenged it all. And he challenged it with a drive that his two moons said he must challenge it. Gate 10 in the design side, gate 10, line 2, we all know that that's the hermit, but when you actually read the heading above the line, it's always the successful sidestepping of other people's requirements through isolation. The eventual success that always takes place, independent behavior guaranteed through isolation, independent counsel. I mean, they couldn't have picked a writer person for the drive to it all. And then he's got a mystical gate to drive his line 1. And it's mystical to drive his moon on the personality side. And it's mystical gate 37.1. It's a mystical gate. I mean, it's a genetic construct, but it serves a mystical purpose inside of us, a big one. It's friendliness. It's a guaranteed of tribal affection. He was going to have affection towards what he did. And the first line is the mother-father figure, a position of inherent respect that ensures the focus and the development of the guidelines that will move the tribe into the future. So here he is. That's a guaranteed foundational aspect of what it is to be a role model if you live it out. All under the emotional awareness that, so inside of his group, people didn't see him as this furly guy that you can't break through to in any way. They saw him as primarily, he was affectionate. He was kind. Gate 37 is driven to be, oh, honey, let's sit down and have some dinner with us. So he's trying to feed you. Now, I'm giving a girl's voice, so he's not going to use that one. He's going to be he was Mr. Gracious, is basically the way I would put that. Many, many times. And the people closest to him would have been like, no, I don't hate this guy. No, he's not actually a dick, or, all these things that might come out of powerful people like this. No, I would be very surprised if much of any of it showed up. This is puts his boots on one boot at a time kind of guy, and the first person to say so. The first person to say so. He doesn't want accolade. He doesn't want those blue ribbons. He doesn't want a crown on his head. That's not what 37 is driven towards. That's not what this cross isn't driven towards it either. This cross is driven towards justice and righteousness as a role model. And his truth, I love this truth in Pluto. His truth is to basically externalize exactly how the interaction will go. And the big truth on the unconscious side is to be the capable administrator, to be an actual administrator. His truth was coming out as the administrator of this investigation in a gate that demands he shares it. It's called the Army. He was guaranteed to draft an army in his employ to basically administer this investigation. It was his truth. It's unstoppable. It would be a generational drive that was in this kid since he was little. What you doing, son? I'm putting it all together, Mom. I bet you are. You keep track of all the pieces. I got them numbered. They're all right here. I can take it apart and put it back together. So,
Yeah, well, he had a lot to investigate.
oh, dude, imagine all that, taming all those details. And so this is John Durham, busy brain, always on, receptive and open, and sees things others don't see, emotionally aware, the peacemaker, the conflict resolver, and the crisis navigator with caution and stand still until it's time to rise and manifest what you're about to say. Shazam. He lived out that path exactly while challenging the crap out of everybody. Let's go over to Sissy Boy. Yeah, because this man is, I believe he is a liar. I don't think I can say that he is, because I don't know what direct, I have lots of proof from my, but so I'll go with I believe to whatever. Okay, so douchebag is a liar, and I believe, and he'll say anything. He will literally say anything. He's been doing it the whole time. It's disgusting to watch. It's just an awful excuse for a person as it relates to a waste of a beautiful nine-centered vehicle. He didn't start out this way. 5-year-old Adam Schiff was a beautiful child, and we all would have loved him, period. So I want to give homage and prayer to the boy that he once was. Lost his way long ago in this quest for power.
That seems to happen a lot going through politics.
Yes. So these are the people that give the vessel of love a bad name. Nobody in his party really is willing to throw him to the curb. He's a vessel of love. That's his incarnation cross. And he's got the love of humanity in his gate, in his son, gate 15. So he would have, as a young child, he would have been like always, and that's in a collective stream, so collective circuitry. So he would have always been sharing himself in that way. He was Dr. Share Extremes. This is the gate of extremes, and there he is in an extreme way, navigating the extremes as a vessel who can withstand the shock. He's always withstanding the shock, because that's what the vessel does. It withstands the shock or not. And so in his circle, when there's nothing at stake, this man is capable of pouring out a universality quality of love that some people in him will know as the dearest thing. Less and less by now is my guess.
Yeah.
But still, some people, and to those people that would be true to them, because it's in him. So it's hard, whatever, to do all that stuff and really, he's been a hard target to hit. He should be easy. He stands out like a sore thumb. How come he hasn't been torn down? Because it's hard to tear down the vessel, like just as a first instinct, basically. He's got a double emotional definition, and I'm starting to see a trend of these big movers having this emotional 59-6. It's a powerful Wa channel. It is an organizational channel. It organizes beings below it, whether they know it or not, and it'll cut your head off. So he's ruthless. And that vessel of love in him that can be so cold could care less. And so he's a 3-6 profile. That's a changing profile. That means his motivation in life, I didn't do John Durham's motivation because I can't be sure to the minute his time, but I got to the minute Adam Schiff's time. However, even if it's not correct, he's a 3-6 profile. That means he's guaranteed a 6-color motivation. We didn't do a lot with this, but they're there. And that 6 color is all about innocence. It's just about not getting involved. And so as soon as the heat gets too hot, he runs away and doesn't get involved. He's just, no, I don't have to be there. The transference of that is where my color is. Desire, 3rd color. his sixth color transfers to a third color, and he lives out the desire to be the leader, be the king of that thing, with a wide open ego that's got no activations on it, and the same themes I have, two gates I have pointing at the ego. He's always wanting to prove he can leap and prove he can do the thing, and then his open head and his open ajna are always concerning himself that he's thinking about all the things, and that's why he will never answer the question, because he knows he can never be certain if which one of his lies is no longer going to be hidden anymore, and he can't be certain which ones he told. It's impossible for him to know. He's not open and receptive to it. It's
he's not very good at when you catch him in lies. He stumbles over his words, and
his face turns beet red and his eyes get extra beady, and it's as if he's wearing a skin suit and he's not human. And so open G center. I want to be the Senate. I want to be this. I want my love and direction. Look at all the gates coming off that G center. It looks like a pinata spinning wheel. If we put firecrackers where all those gates are, we could watch it spin. And And when you have all this activation on this open G center, he doesn't know how much he does or doesn't love himself. He can't tell. He needs the people to love him. Am I moving in the right direction? Am I pushing the right way? Do I even love where I'm going? I better pretend I love this. I don't want to be uncertain that I don't love this. I'm thinking about too many things. I can't tell. I'll just lie. I'm cool. I'm cold. I'll just lie. It's easier. I love myself better when I lie because it's easier on me. I'm self-absorbed. Let me be fully self-absorbed in my liar-ass self and just say whatever and only go with the home team, whether it's good for anybody or not. And I have no doubt he's part of the Great Reset crowd after looking at his chart. Because
yes,
yeah, I guarantee it. I can't guarantee anything, but that's my guess. Open route, totally under pressure. The man is under pressure to want to be driven. That's what gate 54 is. And he's got it twice. So his only theme off of this open root center is I want to be driven to get to the top. I want to be the king of that thing. I love me when everyone else is sharing with me how important I am, because I want to be the leader and the king of that thing. That's his motivation being in transference, who he's not. So if we watch this man over the next 2 years, and we go back just 10 years, we will watch one of those graying things where the guy grays and gets gray quickly because of living out what they're not. Like all the presidents go gray, right? And they all get aged in those years that they're there, unless they can be themselves. And so far, none of them could really, very few, if any, can really be themselves when they're the president. So wildly emotional, wildly sexual. He's got this channel of intimacy guaranteed to break down the aura of others. He didn't even know why he was becoming so important. He couldn't tell. He just thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's got a third line profile in his sun and his earth. On the personality side, that means this man was going to be a martyr unless he literally learned to sort of just shut up and talk about only the right things. He had to learn that the hard way. He learned that the hard way. That's why he is the way he is now. Don't forget, a 3-6 profile is the first 28 to 30 years of its life is a 3-3 profile. Double martyr.
Oh man. Okay.
Double trial and error, double making mistakes, double falling in with the wrong thing, and on the other side, and double pessimism about stuff, double getting it wrong and not sure, double can't tell. And he's got that channel of transitoriness, so doubling down on everything's a crisis, everything I can't tell. I'm wicked emotional about all of this stuff. Single definition, super fast, and all his definition is either collective. Let me share my crisis with you. That's him. Don't worry, I'll share it with him, boss. That's what he says. He has no problem sharing the crisis with people. And then tribal, that's unconscious. So his emotional waves are both totally unconscious, meaning the gates that touch the emotions, they're unconscious. They come out of nowhere. He doesn't want to admit that. He just strikes out and lashes out. So let's put out, so now that he's put on the ropes, if people put him on the ropes, he's going to just feel so embarrassed. He's going to hide. He's not going to want to go around that stuff. That's self-absorbed. vessel that literally is working against itself. He's not acting out his vessel incarnation cross, except to a few people in his life, personal, that we don't know, and at least good for them. But out here for us, he's acting out the or not portion of the vessel of love, period. And that third line in his, it's got this power to sustain. So he sustains at it. Every time you knock him down, he gets back up. Every time you knock him down, he gets back up. And that's been his way throughout the Senate, as long as I've known him. And yet he's stuck feeling paranoid, open spleen, being afraid of this. He's always afraid of the past. He's afraid of the struggle. What's it going to be worth? And then he wants to rise up the ladder and he can't tell. He's under pressure. He's in a hurry to make a pressure. And he thinks about way too many things. And he doesn't even know what to think about. And he can't tell who loves him. He can't tell if it's the right love. And he's busy trying to prove his own worth. You attack his certainty and tell him he doesn't know and tell him he's wrong. He's just going to run away and cry like a little puddle in the corner, dripping into a disgusting drain of filth in a New York subway. That's Alan. That's Adam Schiff crying to death. And this emotional crash wave in him goes up and down, and he doesn't know. So right now, there's probably a Mrs. Schiff at home that can't stand him because he's just lashed out like a little flipping baby who just peed his pants for the third time and didn't want to. You know what I mean? In second grade because he peed himself. Mommy, all laughed at me. That's him right now. And he's not liking that at all. It's also highly sexual. His definition is all about getting it on and making more and experiencing all the experiences he could possibly experience. I have no doubt that this man has been compromised somewhere along the way. I can't prove it, but in my best estimate of things, I'm a betting man. Last thing is the voice that this man speaks. So his two voice themes are 35 and 62. If he were living out his right self, by the way, we wouldn't know him this way. We would know him as a very capable administrator who totally can get to the bottom of things as well. Yeah, okay. Because he's got all the strategic arrows. I'd be like, let's put Adam.
Yeah, I know. I saw complete opposite.
Complete opposite. It would be like, let's put Durham and Schiff together. And so Schiff is responsible for the sprinting part strategically. Sees this, sees that, sees that. And Durham is collecting it all and letting it pour in and directing it all. And those two could have worked great together. But because all these left-facing arrows are a top, when you have all left-facing arrows, you run the risk of forgetting your 9-centered way so deeply because the 7-centered way was all strategic. They only had left-facing arrows. It was an all-left being. Totally. That's why it dominated the plane so well. That's why it was so cold. And the 9-centered being for left-facing arrows, strategic is fine. That's fine. He's a 9-centered being. They just have to be really identified with what they do. Now, Adam Schiff is entirely identified with what he does. You knock him off his block with any of that, and he's a little crybaby about all of that, who won't show you. And the hypocrisy that he gets called out for in his 6th line, he will be the one in the news more so than almost any of them. As it relates, all the 6 lines will. All we have to do is watch out who on the right and through all the podcast news is calling out which of these political pundits the most for their hypocrisy during Russiagate. Now that we know Russiagate was yet another fraud, unlike Pizzagate. They never proved that to be a fraud.
Yeah.
No one ever proved. They just stopped looking at it. I wonder where he sits in that Pizzagate pecking order. This channel of transitoriness is, because it's unconscious in him, especially, it just comes out of nowhere. This man he's got a sexual appetite like there's no tomorrow. That's all there is to it. And it's a not self-strategic. I see it. I want it. Strategic. And under pressure to get it. Under pressure to break through. Under pressure to doubt. And his 2 voices, 35, says, I can come to progress, and 62 says, I have all the details. So the pompous ass pretended to be the man with all the details that brought the progress. It's one of the reasons he speaks so well on TV, because he's able to retain lots of details. Shallow, empty, hollow, 7-centered, lying ass details that when you scratch under the hood, they just don't amount to very much. When you put these two men together, they were no match for each other. One was the heavyweight Joe Rogan in a super MMA match, and the other one was Will Ferrell from Get Willie, fat, pudgy, and scared and screaming like a woman.
Yeah, Adam Schiff doesn't do well under pressure, and he does give himself away.
He falls apart under pressure. He gives
I've always, ever since before I even really knew what was going on, even when I did catch whatever he was saying on TV, it's pansy like energy is the word that
wicked that. Yes. Because
it's
no ego. He thinks all this openness, and look at all the openness. He's got 3 centers to find.
Yeah.
In awake being, that means nothing. In an asleep being, which most are, that means everything. That means he's trying to be the things that he's not, all over the place. So the last thing about,
very much so.
I'll put 59. So his truth, John Durham's truth, was to administer and draw the army and get the job done. That was his truth. This man's truth is, I'm the Casanova. Let me be a playboy. That's what that is. That's what that is. 59, the gate of sexuality. It's called dispersion. Let me disperse my seed, high and low, anywhere I can. And his sexual strategy for all of that is the kamikaze. The strike. Let me strike. I'm gonna come in. I'm coming in to take a bite out of the apple. That's the bonding strategy of this man. And it's also written into his truth. There's nothing wrong with that. The truth of this man living out his nature is he's got a big family, and he's a vessel of love, so he loves it all. That would be the correct truth for this man. Instead, he's a propagandist that doesn't love his country and could care less about any of the people except himself, and fully self-absorbed in a right angle profile that is so strategically focused on I, me, my, that that's all that there is. And so let me show you the joke with these two. If you pull up a wheel,
Yeah, let me get there.
we're gonna look at I'm just going to do gate 11 and gate 10. So gate 11 is in John Durham's cross, coming off of Eden. Dead serious stuff. Furl your brow, tie your boots on tight. We got to go make it out in the wilderness now. Dead serious. Gate 10 for the vessel of love is right after gate 11. Basically, he thought he was going to come in after the fact. John Durham was always one step ahead of him the whole time, just according to the wheel.
Yeah.
These two, in other words, these two are right next to each other. If you move over a quarter, just move over 16 gates, and you'll see that the 36 and the 25 right off to the left. 25. Yeah. Look at, again, right next to each other. John Durham, the 36, him, the 25. John Durham on the wheel was chasing him through the heavens. Literally. It's just what a twist of fate to put these two together.
Right.
Cosmically speaking, these two are wedded in this particular dance at this particular moment through this particular corruption, of which if they put John Durham in charge of anything else, he's going to find Adam Schiff in the middle of all of it again. The leader and the head and the chairman of the the Senate or House Intelligence Committee. All the intelligence was squashed or released by him. Do you remember all the leaks? Oh, new leak. It's like every day a leak. It's not a leak. It's a direct hotline between the CIA, the FBI, and the Washington Post or whatever news outlet. It's not a leak. It's called a memo.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great
It's dependent. Well, we've got a leak coming at 10 o'clock. How do you know if it's a leak? Well, because they come at 10. And so he was the one leaking that. His office was, his ways were, his people were. His apparatus was making sure that shit leaked. He did it. And that's why we had leak after leak after leak. He was still there up until the time they raided Trump's house. He's probably half the reason his tax returns got leaked. All the stuff that's leaked from Donald Trump has been very much the work of this man. I can't say all. Can't possibly be true, but So much of it because Donald's been involved in all these investigations that turn out to be nothing, which means that all becomes intelligence of the United States that all goes through his committee. He was the perfect kingpin for all of this stuff and a perfect stooge that could be taken offline and chased through the gates of hell by none other than John Durham. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's innuendo in that report about sexual exploits of this man. He's just
I wouldn't be surprised either.
He's a walking ball of sexuality that would like to prove he's man, all man. That's what all he wants to prove. Don't tell me I'm a sissy. Tell me I'm a man. That's all he wants to hear. And it's hard for him to get that because, well, he doesn't deserve it. So these are these two guys, and this was the battle they went through, and now we know what poor, what's his name? I still think about the 5-year-old inside of poor Adam Schiff, man. The kid that's still screaming at him, dude, what are you doing to me, man? And what he's going to go through now in the news. They're going to crucify him. And by the way, not just him. A good 10 people were named in that report of people that were true players. I don't even know if he was named in the report as an actual player because he was sort of a sideliner, but he became a big player. They're going to go after all of them. And Schiff is going to be, everyone's going to call him a shifty stooge. Shifty Shift is what he's going to earn that name. So I feel bad for him. John Durham did what he was supposed to do. And hopefully as a projector, he's getting his rest now.
You guys make sure you get your non-GMO popcorn ready.
Yeah, please. This ought to be a good one.
So, non-GMO, remember.
Yeah, please. Please.
So, because most corn nowadays is genetically modified. But great job. Interesting to see what's coming. Lots should come to light with that report. But if you guys want to read it, you can. It is out there for the public to read.
Yep.
You can send a message to me. I'll send you the link. But definitely, if you want to see what was in there, it's good to get educated.
In fact, Jen, this wasn't even going to be a show until you sent me that report. You texted me a link to that report. I remember I opened it. And I'm like, my eyes had just opened up, and I'm like squinting at it, and I start reading it, and I'm like, oh my dear Lord. And so,
I got the link right here. So yeah, great show.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. Follow us if you aren't already, and make sure you come in and get your human design session.
Book your session, really and truly. You come in to know. You need to see it for yourself.
Yes.
Alrighty, everyone.
We hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys on Sunday.
We sure will. Take it easy.
Bye.